Wind or air, one of the four elements, just like Captain Planet taught us, and definitely something which riders battle with on every ride. Now, the GS, especially the Adventure, comes with more than adequate wind protection thanks to a larger windshield and all sorts of other wind deflectors. But I really never found it to be just perfect. At high speeds, the wind pummels my shoulders and my head from the bottom of my forehead upwards. Looking at all the aftermarket options out there for larger windshields, I got in touch with the Germans at Wunderlich, started begging, and they graciously sent us a care package to do some comparisons. We've got a normal GS Screen over here, an Adventure one, and Wunderlich's larger Marathon screen. We'll put them through all of the tests, and by the end of the video you will become a professor in wind dynamics, and we'll also answer the age-old question of spending 175 euros on an aftermarket windscreen really makes that much of a difference. Roll the intro, Dave. Look, it's like I'm Moses with the tablet. Alright, the methodology of the testing will be the following. It was thought up by myself and Dave, so you know it'll be truly scientific. We are going to be using some of these smoke bombs. Never used them before, so the chance of this working is very close to zero. Behind them we'll have a very high quality industrial fan blowing lots of wind, so we can actually see the turbulence that is going to be hitting the rider using all three of these different screens. And to complicate things even further, we're going to be throwing into the mix one of Wunderlich's screen enlargers. Is that what are you called? What's your name? Let's stick with screen enlarger. This should definitely make a difference with the buffeting on your helmet, but I highly doubt it'll do anything for the wind hitting the shoulders or other parts of the chest. Using a very professional mounting method, we went outside and let it rip. However, since the wind was interfering with the blast from our fan, it was impossible to visualize anything useful, so we decided to move everything back inside. First up was our good friend the Adventure Screen. For reference, I'm 1.8 meters tall or 5'90". Doing an okayish job, we can clearly see the smoke hitting the top half of the helmet, resulting in a lot of noise in real-world situations. Adding the Wunderlich Screen enlarger to the Adventure Screen clearly made a big difference vertically, since none of the smoke is hitting the helmet and no weird vortices are being formed between the rider and the windscreen. I highly doubt it would do anything to solve the problem of the wind hitting my shoulders, but we will test this on the road. Each one of these colors smells completely different. That was the red one. That is just, it's horrible. I don't know why. It's the pigment they use probably, which is disgusting. So we're not going to use red again. This was a bad idea. I knew this was a bad idea. Next up was the smallest of the screens, the standard GS one. If on the Adventure Screen, the larger one, I still got wind from my nose upwards, on the standard GS Screen, my whole head was covered in smoke. Not good. Moving on, by adding the enlarger to the standard screen, we can clearly see that it's doing its job of deflecting the air on top of it and thus away from my head. It was time now for the big boy Wunderlich's Marathon Screen. The air is being redirected on top of the helmet. I'm not getting any smoke in my face. I am in a bubble of calm, but whether this has also solved the wind on my shoulder situations remains to be seen. With absolutely no mess made in the garage and on the bike, it was time to test all of these screens in real-world situations.
Well, I mean, look at it this way, at least the wind is very refreshing on a hot summer's day. Again, we're not going very fast, but my shoulders are definitely not protected. I can feel a lot of wind on them. And my head's not buffeting, but there's definitely a lot of airflow coming from, I would say, even from my mouth upwards. There's definitely a lot of noise as well. The spoiler is definitely obstructing my vision a lot more than any of the other screens, and that's probably because of the huge aluminium block right in front of me. It's making a smaller difference when it comes to the wind hitting my shoulders, but a very huge one when it comes to the wind hitting my helmet, which is what I'm sure most people will buy this for. It's doing a very good job vertically, not much of a difference laterally. Lots of adjustments that you can do to it to make sure that it fits on almost every screen. Most of these screws here are adjustment screws. Alright, so I'm very used to the standard Adventure screen. You get a lot of wind beating your shoulders, and you can hear quite a lot of noise in your helmet, because I think probably from about your nose is exactly where the wind starts hitting the helmet. That's in its highest position. Now, I'm definitely not a fan of the spoiler, because especially on this screen it is blocking quite a bit of my view. And it's not just the metallic part of it, it's got a lot of different angles, and it distorts quite a lot everything that I see. What is he doing in a shirt? Is he going to Sturgis? Spoiler definitely is making a difference, a huge one when it comes to wind hitting my helmet, because I can't actually feel any. But it's making no difference to the wind hitting my shoulders, which, as you can imagine, on long highway rides can be pretty irritating. Doing 100 and no wind is hitting my helmet at all. Welcome to my own bubble of calm. Now, we're not going very fast, but 80, 100 is still fast enough. I'm getting very little wind on my shoulders, and this is quite a big improvement compared to the Adventure screen. And by very little, I mean very, very little. So these little wings here must be doing something. And on top of my helmet, it's just pure bliss. I'm 1.8 meters tall, for those of you that want to compare. The seat is in the low position, and I'm not getting any buffeting whatsoever on my helmet. So major improvement. It's exactly what I wanted.
So, the larger the area of the screen, the better the wind protection. Who would have thought, Dave? Now, this wasn't an installation video, obviously. We will be doing one of those later, not because the screen is terribly difficult to install, but there are a few traps here and there. The Marathon screen comes with a separate reinforcing bracket as well, which I didn't install yet. It's meant to keep the screen from shaking around too much, meaning highway speeds of over 150 kilometers per hour, bumpy roads, or any sort of off-roading. So if you're anywhere from Eastern Europe, you need to order this as well. When we first pitched this idea to Wunderlich, they were like, yeah, good, it's a nice idea with all the smoke and everything, but a static test is not the whole story. Since when you are moving, the screen's geometry changes, it pushes it towards you, and this is certainly true for the stock ones, but with the reinforcing brackets and Wunderlich's built-in flow channels, They are definitely getting an improvement worthy of the 175 euros compared to the stock screens if wind and noise are an issue for you when you ride. The Marathon also comes with a 5-year warranty, but what I appreciate the most is not the warranty, but the 60-day return policy. If you don't like it, send it right back. All in all, a great upgrade to the bike. I know all my riding, especially highway riding, will be a lot more enjoyable now. There is a link in the description to Wunderlich store. Pay them a visit, see if anything there is right for you. This is not a sponsored video. Wunderlich didn't even see this before it went live. Alright, comments time. Do you feel the need for an aftermarket screen? Do you have one? And if so, what are your experiences with it? Let us know in the comments below. Well, that's the show for today, everybody. If you've enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up, and if you think you've learned something new, consider subscribing or becoming one of our patrons to help us make more of these shows. Cheers, and I'll see you on the next one.